The reason I'm going to start off on the pound particularly and what I'm looking for, I'm going to do a full multi-time frame analysis for this asset, this pair. You'll notice I've got my coffee here to keep me awake, as always. So for this particular pair, I'm going to start off on the monthly chart, and the simple reason being is because the market we're looking at now, which largely is this, okay, is a large market swing. So that's why I'm starting on the monthly. It has more relevance because there's a longer deviation from the previous high to previous low. So what you've got at the moment, if I get rid of that line, what you've got at the moment is a rebound off from here all the way up here. Now, eventually this slew of green candles has to come to some kind of move back. That's exactly what you saw there. It's what you saw there. It's what you saw there. You know, the list goes on. If you have a long lot of green, you'll get red after. And if you've had a long lot of red, you'll get green after. And that is how the markets flow. So your job as a trader is to pick these times where these circles are. Pretty much that is what you need to do. Now, what you'll notice is on the pound at the moment is that there isn't that next circle, okay? There isn't a circle, and that's because you haven't had the fall yet. So, of course, you know, inherently your job then is to find where that fall is going to be. Now, to locate where that fall is going to be, there's several things you can use to basically make that happen. So I've started on the monthly for good reason. Number one, in finding where that retracement is going to be, and more or less I would start firstly at using a fib, not so we can get the level being 0.168, that is great, but also just so you can understand where you are. We're not looking to bounce off this 0.618 line like it's magic. We're just going to say, okay, the retracement is 61.8%. Therefore, it's reasonable value. So I can have a mid to normal size short at this point, okay? Probably nearer the normal size because you're 61.8% back on the previous fall. So in other words, you've got a very, very feasible short zone there, okay? If it was more like this, okay, it wouldn't be so likely that you would get a rebound, and that's probably why you blew through. And it's the same for the 23.6. We're not looking to hit the line and fly away. We're just saying, okay, well, as we go up the fib scale, the chance of a rebound gets higher because the price is higher, okay? And the longer you go without a fall, obviously, as I said, ultimately you're going to get one. So if I get rid of all of that, and I know this is 0.618, so the price has come fairly far up. If I then just swap and I go onto another tool and I look to the left-hand side, okay, where I've drawn this red line, you can see that there's a lot of candle wicks, okay? If you just use your eyes a little, there's lots of candle wicks at this point. Now that tells me that this is a very reactive place to be. And you can see how you've got nothing here where I'm drawing these arrows. There's nothing there for ages, okay? So the level you're coming up to is one that was previously reactive. So that's telling me, all right, well, there's probably going to be reaction there. So that's my first point. That's how I deal with PA. So that brings me at 127, nearer to 128. Now the next thing I can look at, dropping onto my weekly first, it's just these key MAs. Now, once you rise to those higher MAs, okay, the closer you are to them, the more likely you're going to have a fall. And the reason why is because the last time price crossed over it was over a year ago, 14 months ago. So you're hitting a price you've not hit for 14 months. Therefore, it should be a good short zone, shouldn't it? Because you know, you want to sell at a high price, and the last time the price was high, or as high, was a long time ago. So that's telling you again, like your fib was, that retracement is more and more and more feasible because you're coming back on the market. And the higher the price goes, as I said, the more likely you are to get this rebound. So that's why I use MAs, because they're telling me this is going to be a very fair price. So again, that adds to my evidence. Now, at this point, I drop to my daily because what that will allow me to do is see more local price action levels. The one you can see price at the moment has already started to be rejected, hence this candle wick there, okay? Now, if you look just under that, there's various other points where you have candle wicks. Okay, so the reason why I'm telling you that is because if the price does come lower, it's likely you're going to jitter around and you're not going to slam through. So you need a bit of space so that the price can fall without immediately hitting price action levels like this, because that will flip it to the long side. So the only way that can happen is if this continues to the upside. And I'm not saying to buy it, because if you zoom out, it's already gone very high. I'm just saying to wait nearer to the zone we're after, okay, which is up here. Now, you might get that with your Bank of England news, but more or less the bias I'm trying to get you to understand is that I like it short higher, okay? If you were going to buy it here, it's just going to have to be very light because the price is already high, okay? You've come from down here all the way up there, okay, or even further. 103, all the way up here. The price is high. You don't want to buy. You need it to drop lower, ideally. So my bias overall to the is to the south side on the pound dollar because the price is getting so high. I'd probably, if you can get one more leg up further, that'd be ideal, and I'd look to the short side there. Any questions, guys? There's tons of guys in here. If you can slam that boost button, press it now if you can. That'd be fantastic. Let's try and get 20 or 30 boosts this stream. And if you are new, drop under the video, go to http :/goldstreet.io. You can get in for free. Okay, you can learn for free. So there you are. You don't want to go on TradingView and pick another stream with some guy who's talking about his dog spinning round and that meaning you're breaking out tonight. That's not how things go. Any asset you're trading, you need to understand several things. Number one being price action. Okay. Number two being sentiment. And number three really is market value. If you're just going on and you're doing breakout trades, you'll lose all your money. That's just how it goes. Now, you can see rejection here on this candle for the FTSE. Okay, I know I've got a lot of FTSE guys in here. I'm looking lower. I won't spend long on this, but I am looking lower about there. That's my predetermined long zone. Okay, I'm shorting anything up. Questions. Pound New Zealand, excellent. Thank you for a question. Finally, someone is here, someone's alive, and they're ready to go. I always like it when people are awake because it means we can do much more. So, thanks for the question, Deeps S Manga. Anthony, thanks for the stream. Thank you, Anthony. Great to see you again. I'm glad you're progressing well. Okay, so Ord, I'll check in a minute. £4 New Zealand. Okay, this candle really, because I'm trading this as well. So this is how it goes to me. That is a really weak push, as is that. Okay, you're not hitting your buy zone / heavier sentiment. I mean, you might get scalp gains there, but if you want the best risk-averse zone, I'm not going to take it long until I get nearer here. And what you'll probably find is that these MAs, which you're far off, and when you return to, give you a really good PA zone or a tech long zone, you might find they slightly creep up. So that's where I'd go with that. Okay, 19647 Deep S Mangat. That's where I like it long. It's just looking weak at the moment. My early entry confirmation isn't there. Early price action looks really weak. Okay, if it was strong and that level was harder, more concrete, you would have a bigger reaction, but you don't have that. Nonetheless, you don't want to short. Okay, don't sell it down there. Just let it do its thing. Let it move down naturally. You don't have value on your short side. Ord, Anthony asked for. Anthony's an Academy member, doing very well. Thank you, Anthony, for the review you gave me. I saw. So what you're asking about is this. We called it short up here, as you'll know. I did a video on that the other day, so well done if you got it. The distance between this, I think you can get rulers on here, can't you? There we are. It goes from 68, roughly 0.68 to 0.66. Okay, so in the middle is 0.67, which is about there. Now, what you do have is a very light long zone, but because this is ranging side to side, you can either take half your position in the middle, in line, not because that's the middle of the channel, but just because there is PA zones along there. There's candle wicks, etc. That's why you're longing it. It's not particularly because it's at the middle. Or you can hold off and have your full size when you get nearer the bottom side of the channel. Markets tend to range. Everyone in my academy will know that's how I trade a lot of the time. I'm range trading on the FTSE at the moment on lower time frames, mostly the hourly. Okay, so you can either half your position and get long in the middle, 6-7, or you can have the your normal size at 0.66. Ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if you do go under here, but don't short it under there. You're just looking long 0.66. Okay, that's my bias on ord. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. I think you'll get scalp moves at the moment, which is why I said you could take it really lightly long, but I would probably just hold off. Okay, till around there. That's far more ideal. I think you'll get a further leg down on this. Don't short it, as always, as you probably know, but I think you will get there eventually. Okay, so my long zone for ord, we called it short on my video on my profile, as always. You know, if you saw it and you're following me and you want to trade the right way, then you will have caught it. If you just come on and say, you know what, I want to just gamble on signals, then it's up to you. T Coghill, thanks so much for your comment there. It means a lot. Thank you, great content. I do hope a lot of my factual trading methods make sense to people. I try and keep it as realist as I can. It just comes from experience. It comes from a long time of trading myself. I'm only 24, but I started trading really when I was about 14. And then when I became an adult, I was far more fluent because I was just free to do what I want, basically. I should think someone's going to ask me about the S&P. I think you're going to get through this. I think, and the reason why is it becomes in a lot with someone just asked me about the pound New Zealand. You can see all these drops back are extremely weak. They just get rejected straight away. So there's clearly no downside bias there, at least at this point. So I think that, where I'm just drawing the arrow to, and I'll swap to the daily, you can see all of this, it just gets rejected. There's nothing pulling it down harshly. But nonetheless, I think this is going to break, and therefore my short zone is here. Now, you'll notice how there'll be people on the internet saying, wow, this is going to break out, you know, and all this crap. Okay? If this does come out of here, and let me just use one of these. If it does break out, like you say, those people are going to tell you to buy. Those signal guys are going to tell you to buy, and you're going to be buying right into where I'm selling. Okay? You will only know that is a breakout. The only possible way, let me just get rid of all of this. The only possible way for you to know that this has broken out is after it's done it. Okay, that's why I don't trade breakouts. You'll only know afterwards. Now, if you're long at that point, you're long in line with where the big money is going to short. And that's why you'll lose all your money every time. Okay, and it goes on and on and on. If you don't get the right tools like Anthony, as you see, and you don't go under here or under the YouTube video, http://goldstreak.io, you will be just exposed to people ripping you off and scamming you, saying, okay, this is a long when it breaks out, when it's not a long. Okay, it's absolutely not a long, and it won't be a long. How can it be a long? How could this possibly be a long if you've come from 3,500 points all the way to 4,200 points, and there's no dip? It's not long, okay? Breakouts lead to buying when there's no dip, and therefore you're getting a crap price, and therefore you'll lose your money. NASDAQ, I'll just pull the chart up. I think that's probably easiest. NASDAQ, I will put on a higher time frame. I would like it lightly short at 13.7, but I would like it more so at 14.3, 7. Okay, that is my predetermined short zone. the data on this goes back to 2019, so not very far. But the reason for this area, I would only do lightly, nothing heavy there. This area, you could have the remainder of your position. Okay. And it's just because you got this slew of green and it has to come down. As I said, it has to drop. It's never going to last forever. It has to come down. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So 13.7, yeah, ideal. Above that is even better, 14,400 points ideally. And no problem, Anthony. I hope it helps. If you can hit the boost, guys, if you are enjoying this, please do press a boost, like it, share it. If you're not on board already, just come into Gold Streak and we'll get you set up straight away. And learning trade the proper way so you don't lose all your money. Gold, I still like short. You're teetering around at highs because it doesn't know what it wants to do. Does it want to keep going higher or not? But this is weak, okay? This is weak, and I expect you will get a fall. Again, in line with what I've been saying the whole time, you'll get a larger fall eventually, okay? That is probable. Ultimately, you're going to come much lower, okay? Not all at once, but probably as an oscillation. So gold, I'm short. I'm still short. I'm looking for a larger fall. Okay. I would only reshort if it pushes up to highs again, though. Don't jump in because you've already had a little bit of a fall so far. You can see that it's weak bounce. Okay. But anything up here, okay, and beyond is a short. I called it short yesterday, as I said, and it got absolutely ruined. So well done if you shorted it. Questions, guys? Any questions? Any chart? Doesn't matter what it is. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is at all. I don't care what the chart is. I'll go through it. Just for those guys trading dollar yen, this is weak. Okay? If you drop to your 4 hour, I think you'll get a push slightly higher, but ultimately I think you're going under here. You only want to short on pushes up, and you only want to short appropriately. 133 is far more feasible there. I'm going to do some live trading, as I said, when the news is out in 40 minutes. Is there any questions, guys? Any questions at all? The markets, if they pick up, you really want to be ready for them. If I don't have any questions, as always, I'll just put it on YouTube and call it there. Just before I do, if no one has any questions, I'm going to go for the euro. So the euro is pulling down harshly. That's why you've got such a strong based candle. Okay, it's really ripping down. If I swap to the weekly, you can see you're hitting on very early support. If you're going to buy it, I would only buy it 107.56 area. Okay, and then DCAing in lower. I think you've got room to go. I wouldn't be surprised if you do dip down. If you don't dip down, okay, I did call it short at 111 for absolutely ages. I called the pound US dollar short at 127 for absolutely ages. If you do push up, though, back to 1.28 on your pound, or you push up to 1.117 on your euro, then again, they are short zones. I'm not looking for any breaking out or anything. I'm just shorting after the move. Dollar Swiss, quite long-term PA. Not sure what you mean by that. But I think you're looking for a reversal. Because it's been swallowed for such a long time on the monthly, okay, just drop your size. Don't be crazy with this. Yes, you might get a larger market swing, but it's just getting pulled down and down and down. I wouldn't be surprised if you get to 935 area, 9356. But you're just coinciding with all of this. So yeah, I think you've got room to the upside. You're far off your key moving averages as well, which tells you a lot. But there is, if you look at your weekly, you've got a lot of resistance in the way. So it'll probably come after news and a pop. If you're going to buy it, just do it very lightly. You've got low profit margin, a little bit of risk. So yeah, is there any questions on that? Just a word as well, like Anthony in here, he did a great review for me, thank you. If you want to be a full Academy member of mine, rather than just going through the start a bit, so you want me to actually teach you to trade, just let me know, and you can be put on that program. I do teach people, and they do get results, believe it or not. So yeah, I think that calls it for today. If you can press the boost, and if you want to get on board for free, just drop in there, go and watch my YouTube, do it all, and learn to trade safely and consistently. Don't massively put your risk up. Okay, you don't need to. Just trade consistently, trade small, and you'll get results. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that helps. See you in the next one.